What is up, everybody? It's Receiver today, and we have to talk about this Destiny 2 news. Apparently, the Destiny 2 game has having a lot of issues for the past few months, it seems like, with this game. So apparently, Bungie is having serious issues patching Destiny 2. The game has had to been pulled offline multiple times in recent months. It looks like a build of tech depth is hitting Destiny 2 in multiple ways. Hopefully, they can get this under control soon, says Tom Warren. So, it seems very similar to the situation we had with Redfall on the Xbox. It's just funny how people blame Xbox and Microsoft for a game that Bethesda has made, and Microsoft took all the blame. They have Phil Spencer looking crazy during an interview saying, "I take all the blame for this," when it's mostly Bethesda behind this. Like, sure, Phil could have stepped in more to make sure that game's up to snuff, but at the end of the day, it's still a Bethesda thing. But it's funny how we don't blame Sony for this. You don't blame Sony, even though they own Bungie at this point. So why is Sony not getting the blame? But Microsoft is with Redfall. Now, we can say Redfall is super, like, it's not up to par to modern gaming, but at least they didn't have to take it offline like they're doing in Destiny 2 in multiple months. That is crazy. Emergency maintenance has been done multiple times, so just interesting. Guess it's not okay to blame Sony, huh? Funny how that works. And he says, well, it has nothing to do with Sony. Well, does Redfall have anything to do with Microsoft, or is it just Bethesda? Organic growth, doom and gloom. You don't hear any doom and gloom at all. I'll be honest with people. You don't see any doom and gloom about this. Like, people are saying that, hey, Sony shouldn't be in control of these multiplayer games now, these big multiplayer games. People are saying, hey, why is Sony in charge of that? Like they were doing with Xbox and Game Pass, because people really hate Game Pass for whatever reason. They really think Game Pass is gonna end gaming. These people think Game Pass is like the Terminator or something. Like it's gonna just self-destruct and destroy everybody at this point. I don't know. Tech in the industry seems to be going downhill quickly now. Too many incidents now where it has to be a general issue over isolated ones. Bungie should have just made Destiny 3 by now, or on a new engine. Jim's bad administration fault. Now, I think this is a completely ridiculous comment, but it just points. You could it's just irony. It's just so ironic that Sony fanboys are bragging about Redfall just recently, how it's Microsoft's fault. Microsoft just can't deliver a good game. Game Pass effect. But now that Sony is going through the same rough patch with Bungie, with Destiny 2, you don't see that same energy being thrown at them. I wonder why. Maybe just the engine is showing its age. I don't think it's worth going past the Last Planet DLC, going on from it. Okay. Another reason I wish they just make Destiny 3, they finally figured out what kind of game they want to make, now build a base around that. Okay. I remember when Bungie was a top tier studio. Ever since they've been bought by PlayStation, their quality has fallen off a cliff. Jeez. See, I can't really speak on this because I don't play Destiny. I have no interest in Destiny whatsoever, but that is very telling. When somebody says, hey, they were great when they were making Halo games, but now that they've been acquired by PlayStation, the quality just trash now. So that's interesting. Seeing how juggy games have been launching recently, I guess that's supposed to be how bad games have been launching recently, is what you're trying to say. I wonder if there is something bigger going on with gaming platforms, libraries, engines. Surely they can't be doing this all on purpose, or did everyone suddenly lay off their QA teams? I mean, we kind of are in a generation where they can release a game. It can kind of be buggy, unfinished, and then just gets a patch later. That's kind of the generation we're in right now. PlayStation's curse. Yeah, I think a lot of people are over Destiny 2, or at least don't log in on regularly. As long as issues like this continues, you see all this bad press, all these people, all this negative backlash people having towards Destiny, but it isn't as mainstream as we saw with the whole Redfall debacle. Like, people wanted Phil Spencer's job on a platter. They wanted that guy fired. But we don't see the same energy towards Jim Ryan about this Destiny 2 situation. isn't it just one game from each one of these companies that's doing bad? But Redfall was like, you need to lose your job, you need to be fired. But with Destiny 2, it's kind of like, oh, well, I guess I just play something else. They can just do that with Redfall. But it's like, nah, we need this guy gone, apparently. Just funny how that works. Yeah, with the amount of spaghetti code and server issues, I'm surprised there hasn't been a huge refactor plan on the executive at least. A new engine has been in the works this time. The problem is Xbox. Apparently Xbox is being blamed for this. Blame PlayStation. They clearly demand different things from them than Destiny 2. This is why Destiny 2 is suffering so much since PlayStation bought them. I can't tell if people are being serious or they're being sarcastic with the whole Redfall situation. Like, I really can't tell at this point. That Sony money coming in clutch, I see. Guess Jim Ryan has to leave then. You don't see really any tweets about that, pretty much. It's just hilarious. Where are all the Sony Sucks articles? Yeah, I want to know where they're at too. We saw that with Redfall. Everybody in the gaming industry was talking about Redfall, but Destiny 2 is pretty much unplayable. Like, it has multiple crashes, certain multiple emergency maintenances, and not a peep really. Not really a peep. You don't see any doom and gloom. Jim Ryan needs to go. PlayStation can't do multiplayer games. We don't see any articles like that pretty much. Very telling. This is a massive blow to Sony. First-party studios should not be having issues like this. Sounds kind of similar to what we heard about Redfall. That's interesting. Get some people that know what the F they are doing. I know this is a crazy idea, but maybe go for skill instead of diversity. That's kind of crazy because Bungie are the people who made Halo. I mean, the Halo franchise has been pretty well beloved, so I think they kind of know what they're doing. If you still play Destiny, you're just an effing moron and deserve any inconvenience you face playing that garbage. It sounds very similar to the thought process we heard of people who played Redfall still, who played at 38 frames per second and were at least having fun with it. It kind of sounds the same. Maybe we shouldn't just go off the rails when one of these companies release a bad game that people are not liking. Sony/PlayStation effect. If they touch multiplayer, it turns to crap. Where does any of the money go that goes into keeping Destiny 2 healthy? This is the stink of Sony. Okay. PlayStation is just a garbage company. Bro, it is so similar to what we were seeing with Redfall just a few days ago. A week and a few days ago. There goes that PlayStation multiplayer stench. Just like Arcane's bugs reflect on Xbox, Bungie bugs reflect on PlayStation. If we're keeping that same energy, they should be treated the same at this point. But I don't think they will. I don't think the gaming media is really going to cover this like that because they're going to be like, oh well, just play another game. But with Xbox, it's the end of the world if Xbox releases Redfall not at 60. The game is not up to par. The game is not that great. It's a 6 out of 10. It's like, Microsoft, what are you doing? You're just ruining the industry. I just lost faith in Microsoft. It's just fascinating. We saw so many articles like that, but none for PlayStation. Just one guy covering it pretty much. So, very interesting. People say there's no bias. You can't get more blatant than blatant than this at this point. Like, where are the articles criticizing Sony for Destiny, Bungie's handling of Destiny 2? Nobody's talking about it pretty much, but I'm going to include it right here. Definitely want to see your thoughts down below about this. Leave a like this video, and as always, thanks for watching, and peace.